I can't outdo the Kelseys. I thought about trying to do that. But 2024 Time Athlete of the Year, 2-time Naismith Trophy. I mean, we could spend the entire podcast, Caitlin, just listing off like everything that you've been doing for the last 4 years. But Caitlin, I really appreciate you taking the time to just hang out for a little bit. It's good to catch up with you.
It. Thanks for having me on.
Caitlin Clark is back, and she's bringing the same brazen spirit to a brand new viral interview with University of Iowa Sports Media. Just a week before her legendary college jersey is slated to be honored at Carver Hawkeye Arena, Clark opens up about the defining events of her journey, from navigating a freshman season during COVID to managing life as a collegiate athlete. She also gets real about her WNBA future, the friendships she treasures most, and an unbelievable run-in with Taylor Swift at a Chiefs game.
I've been covering you since your senior year of high school. But you and I had never met face to face until after your freshman season because they kept everything so strict due to COVID and everything.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of makes your rise kind of even more intriguing to me, because it's not even the fact that like you've elevated to where you are. You started from the bottom's bottom because there were literally no fans in attendance, and like even the TV deal was kind of suspect at the time.
And trust me, Caitlin's view on women's basketball and her biggest career-defining events are nothing short of must-see. Her insights are honest, real, and a testament to why she's one of the most electric athletes in the game today. So buckle up. We're getting into it all, right here, right now. Ready? Let's go.
So, 3 words describe your Iowa career.
I'm going to say special.
Okay.
I'm going to say life-changing, but that's 2 words. Dang it.
It's a hyphen.
Okay, hyphen. Does that make it? Yeah, okay.
Well, I'll count it 1.
Special, life-changing, and impactful. I'm going to go those 3.
Clark begins off strong, calling her job special, life-changing, and impactful. But what makes those 3 words so meaningful? With great thanks, she looks back on the journey that made her into the player and person she is today.
I like impactful. And I think that from a standpoint of like, obviously I have had an impact on a lot of people. I'm very aware of that. But at the same time, I hope everybody knows they've had an impact on me too. Like it's a 2-way street, and getting to see the young boys and the young girls, or, you know, the people that have drove from miles and miles to come watch us or whatever it was in college, you know, that has a huge impact, not only on myself, but our entire teams when we were playing. So I hope everybody knows it's a 2-way street on that.
Yeah.
And it really means a lot to us players, and certainly myself.
Next, Caitlin rewinds to where it all began. Her freshman year, smack in the middle of the COVID era. Remember those days? She comments on the bizarre sensation of playing in empty venues, with nothing but cardboard cutouts and her family in the fans, making every moment on the court even more vivid.
I don't remember a lot of them. One of the only ones I really remember was probably the Iowa State one at home, where we came back from, I think, down 18 points. But like, we're playing in front of nobody. Like, there wasn't anything like super memorable about that year. Like, you're playing in front of cardboard cutouts and then like just your family members. So that was kind of a blur. And at some points, like it's unfortunate, but at the same time, like I feel like it gave me a year to kind of get my feet wet in college basketball. With that, I didn't have to balance road crowds. I didn't have to balance our crowd. I didn't have to balance all of that noise.
So, what really went down during that legendary Iowa State game? And why does it have such a special place in Caitlin's heart? She breaks it all down, exposing the moments that made it a landmark chapter in her career.
I look back and watch some of those videos of me celebrating after the Iowa State game, because I think I made a 3 with like 40-some seconds to go.
Oh, yeah.
To put us up 1 maybe or something. It was a huge comeback anyway. And I was like celebrating like there was 15,000 people inside of Carver, and there was probably like 200 people in Carver watching us. So it's just really funny to laugh at myself looking back on, but it was a good time.
But here's the twist. Caitlin confesses that the strange silence of those empty venues might have really worked in her favor. Without the roaring spectators, she found it simpler to focus, adapt, and develop into the college game at her own time.
I feel like that allowed me to kind of play more free and kind of figure out myself and I don't know, just figure out how college basketball works. So, it was kind of unfortunate that I missed a year of college basketball of being in front of our crowds, but at the same time, I try to look at it in a positive manner of like, maybe that helped me, and maybe like that was the starting point of like how I kind of got my feet wet in college basketball. And then obviously after that, it really took off. We played in front of nobody to not being able to get a ticket, which is pretty crazy.
Well, I mean, you got to play in front of your dog at least, though, too.
Yeah, that was basically the only person, my fake cardboard cutout dog.
And when the fans eventually made their comeback, let's just say Caitlin's excitement was through the roof. In her own words, she tells just how much their excitement energized her game and made every moment on the court even more exciting.
Honestly, I think going into my second year, I was just so excited to like finally get to play in front of people. I remember asking, it was like the exhibition game. And I remember like going up to Coach Fitz, I'm like, how many people do you think are going to be here? Like I kept asking, like I was so giddy on like finding out like how many people were going to come, like what the crowd was going to be like. Like I remember being like so excited to finally play in front of our fans and the people that have supported, the program far before I got there. So I just remember being like super giddy about that.
Caitlin's approaching jersey retirement at the University of Iowa is nothing short of remarkable. As only the third player in program history to have her number hanging in the rafters, she takes a time to reflect on the wonderful path that led her to this milestone.
Being so excited, I think there was probably like 4,000, 3,000 people there maybe if I had to guess, but I was like so excited to play in front of people that weren't my mom and dad and my teammates' parents. Like it was like a taste of, kind of what could be or what had been for the program previously. So I just remember being like so giddy about an exhibition game because it was just the first time that I got to play in front of our fans a year after I'd already been on campus, more than a year after being on campus.
From donning the legendary number 22 to leaving a lasting legacy on the court, Caitlin admits that having her jersey retired was never a goal she set. It's simply a reflection of the passion and dedication she placed into the program. Now, she opens out about what this honor genuinely means to her. Let's hear it from Caitlin herself.
I guess now that enough time's gone by, what's your kind of thought process about your jersey getting retired and knowing you don't even just have your mark on the floor, like your jersey is going to be in the rafters forever?
This is where Caitlin really starts to wear her heart on her sleeve. She opens up in a way that illustrates just how much the road and the people along the way have molded her, giving us a deeper glimpse into the emotions underlying her extraordinary career.
Obviously it gets announced and it's like, oh, this is amazing and this is so cool. But I feel like as the days kind of started to approach here and we're now like a week away from this actually happening, I feel like it's kind of becoming really real. And this isn't like a goal where you show up to campus and you're like, I want to have my jersey retired one day. Like nobody does that. Nobody thinks that way. Like you just give your all for the program and the university. And, there's been a lot of really good players to come through our program and have, would have been National Player of the Year, Big Ten players, whatever it is. And I think we only have 2 with their jersey retired right now. Mm-hmm. So it'll be cool to be one of the few.
In the off-season, Caitlin's been putting in the hard work, honing her game, and preparing up for an even stronger second year in the WNBA. With the direction of her new player development coach, Keith Porter, she's not just adding new skills. She's fine-tuning the ones that make her a great force on the court.
I think it's hard to probably, really feel all the emotions until I'm going to be inside of Carver and really see it and experience that with my family. And I'm not usually a very emotional person, but I feel like this will probably make me a little more emotional. And usually like when we've had certain things inside of Carver, I've been competing or playing shortly before like something like that has happened, whether it's been a senior night or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to kind of evoke emotion after you just competed for 40 minutes. But now that I'm not actually going to be playing, I feel like I'll probably be a little more emotional, even though I'm not a super emotional person. Thankful to have played at a place that loves women's basketball in the way that it does and has really helped me flourish. And it'll be exciting for me to go back and be inside Carver. I haven't been there since I played my last game. So it'll be really special.
Caitlin described this off-season as a rare chance to focus totally on her progress, without the burden of college basketball or the WNBA's hectic schedules. It's the perfect time for her to dedicate herself to getting better and take her game to the next level.
You have a new strength coach or player development coach at the Fever now too, right?
Yeah, new player development coach. Came over with Steph White from Connecticut, and it's been a lot of fun. It's been fun to be in Indianapolis and working out with him. And Keith just loves the game of basketball, you can tell, and he puts a lot of time into it. It puts a lot of time into, what we're going to work on every single day, but how does that look in like a long-term plan of my development, and adding little things and refining certain things that can help me be much more successful in year 2, and then also just trying to get stronger and be in the weight room a lot. So it's been fun. I feel like this is the first time I've really had a chance to really work on my game and work on my craft and be really focused on it. And obviously that was hard in college. Even going into my senior year was really the last time I could work on things and add things. But
what are your goals for yourself for this season? Maybe for Caitlin this season?
My goals for Caitlin, I just want her to just destroy everything, right? Like I want to give her like the extra tools to where now the way the teams used to play her, you can't do that anymore. You can't force her to take these shots. So now what do? You just got to take that. You just got to take these points and just get on the other end, right? So that's my goal. I want her to just feel super comfortable in every scenario, every coverage, whatever it is, and just destroy teams, right? The goal is ultimately a championship.
Do you see MVP Caitlin on the rise?
Absolutely.
On the court, Caitlin Clark is fierce, aggressive, and laser-focused, a true competitor. But off the court, it's a very different picture. Caitlin talks up on how she's able to switch gears and leave that ferocious edge behind after the game is done, showcasing the more comfortable and grounded side of her nature.
I feel like this is really my first time in quite some time where I can really focus and be in the gym by myself and with trainers and rebounders or whatever, and really work on things that I need to get better at.
She talks about attaining a sense of serenity and composure in her daily life, balancing her ferocious competition with a grounded, laid-back demeanor. It's a fascinating peek into the duality of one of the game's most passionate and motivated players.
You're obviously very emotional on the court.
Yes, I am. I was going to say that. I'm very emotional on the court, but off the court, I'm not super I try to just, I don't know, be more relaxed. And I take a lot of pride in that. Once I step off the court, I'm not as fiery and I'm fiery, but it's not the same level as when I get competitive and I'm in a game.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
But where does that equilibrium originate from? Caitlin doesn't hesitate to credit her upbringing for shaping her outlook. She recounts how her parents taught her the principles of humility, accountability, and grace, win or lose, instilling a foundation that keeps her grounded, no matter how high the stakes.
It's been amazing to me because you're fiery, you wear your heart on your sleeve on the court, you're driven, you're competitive. But I cannot remember one time where you've been in a post-game interview or a scuffle after the game or anything like that, and you haven't had a clear head, you present yourself well. I guess, how do you kind of not let the cup of being competitive overflow into, I don't want to say public image because I know you, it is you, but it still can be difficult to present yourself in the way that you are sometimes just because of all the pressure and everything.
For Caitlin, remaining grounded, being a good sport, and continuously focusing on areas for growth are crucial. This approach has made her not only an excellent athlete, but also a role model to followers globally. Let's dive into Caitlin's views as she thinks on the teachings that have impacted her approach to the game.
I feel like you got to be a good sport, whether you win or whether you lose. But at the same time, I think that's how I was raised. My parents, it was just an expectation. You're going to be the same person you are, whether you win, whether you lose. You're not going to brag about winning. You're not going to, pout about losing and blame other people. You just get back up and keep fighting type of thing.
When questioned about how she handles the media, here's what Caitlin had to say.
Evaluating yourself first is, you always got to look in the mirror. You're never going to be able to, whether it's a ref's call you were upset about, if it was this or that the other team did, at the end of the day, the only thing that you can control is yourself and how that affects your team. You can't control anything else. And at times that certainly can be really, really hard. It's obviously way easier said than done. We've, as athletes, have all been there in any sport. People just get competitive, but I think I always try to remind myself, look in the mirror first, evaluate what you can do to get better. Also, I try to, convey my thoughts to the media the best I can to help them understand the game and understand what I'm going through and what I'm thinking, and try to give thoughtful, authentic answers too to help them And, you know, I think that's been a great part of, you know, helping our game grow too, is, you know, the articles that people can write or the stories that people can tell or how they can convey the game to people that are reading their article or listening to their podcast. I think that's really helpful too, hearing it from a player's perspective.
Then Caitlin starts talking about Kate's performance in the new unparalleled 3-on basketball league. Are you ready to hear this?